Hey everyone, I'm going to start this a little early so that everyone can get in, say hello. I hope you're all doing wonderful tonight. Hi Shirley. Oh, I'm on the mend. I'm still I just have those lingering symptoms, right? It's like, I don't know what to call them. Like, I have ice water here to keep me from coughing and that kind of stuff. And I get tired really easily, but like I never lay down before live, and like an hour before tonight's live, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go lay down and set an alarm and rest a little bit. I don't know. It just has to go away. That's all I'm saying about that. How's everybody doing this evening? It's been so long since I've been live. I feel like people are gonna have forgotten all about me. That's okay. You know, just watch it on replay, I guess. All right. So we are go through our bundle. We have a really super fun bundle tonight. The bundle is 55% off. So the retail for the products I'm going to use tonight is 110 and change, and it is on sale for $50. So you can find a link to that in the description box. We have 2 colors of cardstock, aubergine and alabaster. We have 6x6 paper pad called Butterfly Bounty. We have a 6x8 stamp set. This one is called Kindness Matters. And then there's also these Smile Dies, Simple Blend ink pad. This is probably my favorite. I keep using it. It's the one that has the purple and the blue and the green. Some alabaster, grape, and violet glitter glaze and chroma glaze. Pretty Violet Shift Sparkles, a brush, one of Christopher's amazing blending brushes. They have become like a staple. Every time I place an order at the shop, I always like just throw one in there in my order just to be safe, just to make sure that I've got one. And then some Detail Raven black ink. Hi, Penny. I'm so happy you're here tonight. Okay, so tonight's card is going to be messy. We're going to take all of our Monday frustrations out on some crafting today. Can't beat that. Hello, Karen. Hello. Oh, Nikki. It's Nikki, right? Joyful Creations is Nikki. Is that right? Am I remembering this correctly? I really hope so. Hi, Karen. I am functioning. Shirley asked me that too. She asked if I was feeling better. I'm doing okay. I have some cold water here so that I don't cough or, oh, look, and it's in my Cupidus Monroe cup too. So I'm going to sip on that tonight to keep me from coughing. Yay, I remembered. I remembered. And we will be just fine. So I am on the mend. Just takes a little bit, right? So I'm going to start with the alabaster cardstock, and I'm going to cut this down to a card base size, which is 4¼ by 5½. And then we're going to make lots of mess tonight. Tonight is messy. So that's where we are. I'm going to shut the door because apparently we're going to bark. Andre says hello. Says, how are you all doing tonight? I must make my presence be felt. He's such a little booger. All right. So let's get back to this. This is the pastel chroma glaze that's in the kit tonight, and this is violet. And I'm almost out of this. I love this color. So we are actually probably going to end up using the last of my violet chroma glaze and finishing it off on tonight's card. If that doesn't tell you how much I love chroma glaze, this nice empty bottle sure will, right? So tonight's card, this card base is actually going to be layered. So this is just the first mixed media layer we're going to add. And because of the other things we're going to put on top of this card panel, we don't necessarily need to worry about the middle. We just have to get some of the edges. So we don't need a ton of this. The other thing is that we're going to add some texture to our chroma glaze. So it's not going to go on, we don't want it to go on smooth. It's not going to go on smooth. So I'm just going to put it right around the edges. This does not have to be a thick layer, although it can be if you want. There are no rules. No rules at all. But there's no sense in me putting it in the very middle of tonight's card panel because that's just all going to get covered up. So why bother? It's me, so we're going to go. Now, this is me working with mixed media. I say this, I am not never stingy with the mixed media mediums. Never stingy. But that's just me. I am going to be slightly stingy tonight because this is the very last of my violet chroma glaze. And that would be terrible if I ran out without getting all the way around the card. Oh, thank you so much. So, we do have the ability to just buy individual products, not just the bundle. So I'm just going to go all the way around the edges. Now, no matter what you have used around the edges, no matter what kind of palette knife you've used, once you have all the edges, come in with that palette knife and just rub it up. Brush, I don't know what to call it. Make it not smooth. Add some texture to it. Let's go with that. So I'm just going to tap this in. This is super easy. And it's just going to add a little bit. And like I said, if the inside gets goopy, whatever happens to the inside, it doesn't even matter because finished product, you are not going to see this at all. I kicked all of my family off of the internet. So if the picture gets wonky, it's YouTube. It's not me. It's just like that. And then we're going to set this aside to dry. Super simple. Anybody can do this. And yeah, we're going to need to add some chroma glaze to the cart because that's it. All right. I'm taking my little palette knife, and before I even started, I have my little stencil technically a stencil cleaner, but I put water in it whenever I'm going to do messy stuff because my sink is, you know, down the hall and I don't want to run down the hall. But I also don't want that stuff drying on my palette knife. That would be a real bad thing. No, extremely bad. So there you go. Penny got it. The word we're looking for is stipple. She's correct. Nikki says she's back from vacation for a week and she had a great time. That's awesome. I'm so happy you had a nice vacation, Nikki. Okay, I'm going to set this aside, and by the magic of YouTube, I have one already dry. It always amazes me how chroma glaze looks, like how different chroma glaze looks between putting it on and then letting it dry. Because if you look at it now, it looks much less violet and much more pink. Penny, through the magic of TV. Yep, through the magic of YouTube. Here we go. All dry. But look how cool the edges look where we did that stippling. Thank you, Penny, for providing me the word. So cool. Okay, so then we're going to add another layer on top of this. And that layer is going to be some chroma glaze. Hi, Ellen. How are you tonight? So this is the grape chroma glaze. And I'm going to do pretty much the exact same thing. So my favorite thing to do with chroma glaze, of course, is to put it on top of things, right? Why can't we put it on top of something of more mixed media? It is like the perfect layering if you're someone who likes to get messy and likes mixed media. This layering up your paste with your glitter glazes is beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and grab this. I know I've said this before, but glitter glaze smells so good. So good. So what I'm going to do again is I just need to get around the edges. Could you do the whole panel? Yes. In fact, my next Magic of TV panel is completely covered, but that was before I did that one before I had 100% decided on a panel design. So you certainly could do the whole thing, or you can just do the edges. It's totally up to you. And I am going to go ahead and just put this right over the top. And it's going to catch in the little areas. And some areas are going to be really thick with glitter. And some areas are going to be really thin with glitter. Because it just depends on where the glitter sits. And remember, if you've stippled it, so there's like areas that have a lot of the chroma glaze. We have areas that have just a smidgen of the chroma glaze. So that will, to some degree, that texture will kind of dictate where some of the glitter glaze sits thicker or thinner. I would say that when you're all done and you're happy with where all of the glaze is, make sure you get around the edges with your palette knife so that you don't have smudgy edges. You want nice, because we're making a card and we have cut this cardstock fully 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we definitely want to make sure that the edges are pretty crisp and that none of this glitter glaze is sticking to the edges too much. But other than that, that's the only real tip I have for you. You can't mess this up. Just gonna get all those edges nice and crisp. And then we can go ahead and set this one aside to dry. And again, through the magic of TV, I have one here all ready to go. Let's get this, all the goop off of my fingers. There we go. We'll give the computer a little bit to catch up. There we are. That's better. Ellen says she drove several hours last week and had crafting time with your niece. Aw, I drove several hours Saturday and had crafting time with everyone at Brutus Monroe. Well, everyone that did the make and take at Brutus Monroe anyway. So here is the finish. Now for this one, I did all the same steps except that I put the chroma glaze and the glitter glaze all over the entire panel. And that was mostly because I did this one while I was deciding and designing and figuring out what I wanted to do for the live tonight. And I wasn't sure how much of this would show. And I even considered if this would be something we would die cut for our cards. So I just left it the whole panel. And it's gorgeous. So next, Ellen says, did I see your happy face in the party pictures? Looked like everyone had a wonderful time. Okay, so you might have seen my happy face in the party pictures. To my knowledge, only 2 people took a picture of me. So it's possible. It's possible. And Candy said she did see me in the video. So if you were on the live feed for the video, Candy texted me and she said, I see you. So I was there at some point on the live video too. Penny said we took a selfie together, but you haven't. Yes, I have one selfie with Penny and one selfie with Heather. And to my knowledge, those were the only pictures I posed for or that I got at the party. Okay, so I just cut down, catch you up a little bit. I just cut down this little alabaster panel. This was just, so I cut the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is just another piece. This is the other piece from the leftovers. And we're going to use this stamp set. I love this stamp set. It's amazing. Yep. Penny said I was. That's why I was. I was down in the studio supervising the make and take. And yeah, Ellen's up. So I have the selfie of me and Penny, and I should send that to Penny if she wants it. And then Heather has the selfie of me and Heather. So I haven't even, like, she didn't even send it to me. So I don't actually have the selfie. I just know it was taken. Okay, so we are going to use, this is the Kindness Matters stamp set. And there's this big floral piece here at the bottom. That's the stamp set we're going to use for tonight's card project. And I'm just going to stamp it with some black ink. I think that this stamp set would be amazing if you are a Copic colorer, if you like to color, you have, you enjoy that. But if you don't like to color, we're going to do something today that is going to brighten this up and make it gorgeous. And we are not going to color it in a traditional sense. But someday I'll probably color it with my six, just for the fun of it. I'm going to stamp this a couple of times. So I have the Raven Detail ink. I have the stamp set here, and I'm just going to stamp this a couple of times so I get a nice, crisp, clean image. Oh, wait, Nikki, I'm catching up on what you said here. Nikki says her sister has co-written a musical and they were able to showcase the music at a famous cabaret in New York City. Oh, that is so cool. I love that. They're trying to get it to Broadway. That is amazing. I hope they succeed. So stamp sets that have a lot of surface area can be a little tricky to color or to stamp. So let me give you a couple of tips. First tip is you should definitely have a stamp positioner or Misty, something like that, so you can stamp it more than once. The second thing is you should have a Stampin' Bug. Mine broke because I broke it. It wasn't the company that, it was made perfectly fine. It was made amazingly. But I broke my Stampin' Bug because I'm accident prone. Um, so, and then I went to order one, and the shop is closed till February. So we're just gonna have to go with it here. The next trick I have for you is not to stamp fast. So don't put your stamp to your paper. Go like this and then pull it up. Let the paper and the stamp hang out together for a little bit. And that will help if you have areas. Because you can see here, like, I have to stamp this 3 or 4 times to get every bit of this really good and onto the stamp. And most of that is because my Stampin' Bug. Oh. Yes, I saw the one Chris was gifted too. It's so cute. I think that is absolutely awesome. I love that they gifted him one. That was sweet. Okay, let's go here through the middle. So I'm just looking at the stamp and I'm trying to figure out where it can be a little bit darker. And then I'm just going to ink up that portion of the stamp. I'm also going to turn it this way so I can give it a really good press down. Here we go. So just be nice and patient with your stamps that have a lot of surface area, and you'll be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down all the way around. And I'm going to get as close to the end of the stamp as I can, but just if you make it a little smaller, it's totally fine because we're going to put it on this. So the smaller you trim down your stamped image, the more you'll be able to see the glittery, sparkly background. Okay. There we go. Nikki says, we were as a family able to be at the showcase in New York City this past July. Then we toured Times Square and went to the Statue of Liberty for the first time with our kids. Oh, how fun. So there is our panel. Now we do want to add a little bit of color, and that's where our little ink pad is going to come in. So on the ink pad, we have green, which is up here, and then there's this swipe of blue, and then the purple blues down here. I'm going to take my brush and just a little bit of the purple blue. I am going to load up the brush pretty good. I want this to be pretty intense color. Then I'm going to start off of the side of the panel and come in and just catch the edge. I am not inking this whole panel at all. I am just inking the end and then just a smidgen in, just a smidgen. And that is a very technical mathematical term, the term just a smidge. I'm going to go all the way around the edges. And I'm just coming in a little bit. And this brush works so amazing for that, for just coming in just a smidge and getting that color around the edge. And if you don't like it, like if you do it and something looks a little bit wonky, you're not super happy with it, just come back over it again and just keep blending. There's no wrong way to do it. And if you just keep coming in with just a little more ink and you just keep blending, it will all blend out without any problems. Okay, so just like that. And we're done. Nikki asked, do you only do paper crafts or do you like do you do any like vinyl or iron projects too? Do you Cricut or Silhouette? Okay, me. So that's a very good question. Hold on one second. I'm going to take that as two questions. Do you only do paper crafts or do you like any vinyl or iron projects too? Okay, so if the question is, have I done vinyl or iron on projects? The answer is yes. Yes, I have in the past done that. In fact, I have done all kinds of vinyl like decor and stuff like that when my youngest son was a baby, well, toddler, preschool. He was obsessed with Cars, the movie, Disney movie Cars. So I bought, and this answers the Cricut question too. I had a Cricut, a big a big one, and I bought the cartridge that had the little all the cars with all the different layers, and I made these giant layered vinyl cars for his walls. So the answer to the question is yes, I have in the past done vinyl and iron-on projects, and I have used both the Cricut and the Silhouette. I currently use a Silhouette. That's what I have right now for my cutting machine, but I have in the past used both, and I've done the vinyl paper crafting or vinyl crafting and things like that. So this is the second glitter glaze that we have in our bundle tonight, and it is alabaster, and I'm going to come on and I'm going to put a nice layer over the entirety of this. Now there's a couple of rules. This glitter glaze will pick up the blue color from our ink. So the one thing that I don't want to do is I want to put enough on my mat here that I don't have to dip into my jar again, because it will pick up this blue. And the cool part is it will pick up that blue ink on the edge and kind of pull it through the panel, which we want. but then I don't want that tinted blue glitter glaze going back into the jar. That is what we don't want. Yes, the picture goes in and out of focus the entire time I am live. I'm not quite sure why. It's YouTube and it's Restream, and they're really it likes to mess around with me. So I apologize, but there's nothing I can do about it. That is beyond my level of technology. So I am taking the glitter glaze and I'm just putting a nice layer right over the whole car panel. Now this one we're going to do over the whole thing. And I was not stingy with the glitter glaze when I put it on my glass mat. So I'm not going to be stingy with it as I put it on here, because once it's been on the glass mat, once it's picked up the blue, there's nothing to be done. You just have to put every bit of it onto your card panel so it doesn't go to waste. That's the rules. Well, my rules anyway. We're just going to go ahead and put it all on. Penny knows what comes next. We're going to set this aside to dry, and then well, first we're going to clean up. I've never used, oh, Nikki says she uses vinyl in her scrapbooking. I've never used vinyl in my scrapbooking. By the magic of TV, we have one already done and dry. I have never used vinyl in my scrapbooking, and I will admit that while I have done it in the past, and for a while there, I was really into it. Like, I did all kinds of stuff for my house and made wall hangings and like all that stuff, t-shirts. It was something that didn't stick. I liked it, but I also found it very frustrating. And so it's not something that I do anymore. It just didn't, I liked what I did, but I found it didn't stick. Let's just go with that. It just didn't stick. So now I basically just use, I just use paper. I just do paper crafting. So, FYI, apparently I dropped a little blob of the clear glitter glaze onto the car panel. This is kind of interesting. I'm intrigued by this. And when I went to wipe it off, it took both the chroma glaze and the glitter glaze that was already dried and on, right off the top. And this was completely dry. That's wild. Okay, just information in case you're interested. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to place our stamped. I'm just going with it. It's fine. I'm not going to worry too much about it. It looks messy. It's layered. It looks like a mixed media project. It does not have to be perfect at all. There we go, Penny. Through the magic of TV. Exactly. All right. I am going to use, actually, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use this one. Same glue, just different nozzles. I don't need a precision chip. I need lots of glue. When you are gluing down mixed media, wet things on top of wet things, it's very important to use lots of wet glue, because otherwise it's just, things aren't going to stick. And since we have all this glitter on this bottom panel, we definitely need some glue. If you find that you have some warping, put your card panel under a heavy book. Paper has no memory. So if you flatten the paper out real good, it will stay flat. And the best thing that I found to flatten paper is just a nice heavy book. Okay, Nikki says, have you ever been to Lewisburg, PA? Yes, I have been to Lewisburg, PA. In fact, I have a sister that lives in Lewisburg, PA. I have lived in just about every part of Pennsylvania that you can think of. I was born in Reading, Philadelphia area. My grandparents, one side of grandparents lived in Ephrata, York area. Second set of grandparents lived in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area. And then when I was 12, we moved to the Poconos. So then I lived in like that area, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Poconos, that kind of little area. And then I met my husband and got married and moved to the western part of Pennsylvania. So basically, if you give me a town in Pennsylvania, I know of it or know where it is. And I'm also the oldest of 7 children. So I have 5 sisters and a brother. And all 5 of my sisters live in different parts of Pennsylvania. So Nikki said, I was just commiserating. I'm going to give the YouTube a minute to figure out what it's doing here, and maybe we'll get rid of some of this blurriness, and then we'll go back to our card because we are good on time. So there's no reason I don't need to rush through this or anything, and we can give YouTube some time to figure out what it's doing. Nikki says, I was just commiserating with my friend Andrea today over how the designing is fun, but the execution of it is hard sometimes, especially if the materials don't want to cooperate or the mats or machine. Yeah, all that with the vinyl and all the arena and stuff. It's fun. And I think like I just always ended up gravitating back towards my paper and my photographs and my paints and those types of things. Because I like the art part, right? I like the part where I get to play with all the things and make all the things. And I don't like my canvases or my projects to be too big. So the largest kind of paper crafting project I make is like a 12 by 12 scrapbook page. Anything larger than that, even like a double page spread, that's too much. It's too much and I don't like it. I like to go with a smaller canvas. And I really like the messy stuff. And I really like to kind of experiment with things and play. And if I want to make something that I want to give away, I make cards because I do, when I make my cards, I give them away. In fact, usually I don't make them unless I have a recipient in mind. So, oh, come on, YouTube. Let's go. So from our Smile die set, and this die set's amazing. Not only does it have the little sentiment we're going to use tonight, it also has all these cute little dies that make all the little sequins and those little hearts. I love this die set. It's definitely in heavy rotation in my scrapbook room for sure. My craft room. I've been to the Children's Museum. Yep. With my boys. I went with probably one of my grandparents or something. That was many, many years ago, but I remember the Children's Museum. Okay, so I've cut a Smile 3 times from the aubergine cardstock. And then I am going to layer these dies up to give them a little bit of lift and dimension, because um, I our panel has some texture around the edge, right? And it has the glitter, but other than that, it's flat. We haven't used any kind of foam tape, nothing like that. So let's go ahead and give our sentiment some of that dimension, and that will help it to kind of stand up against all of the glitter and all of the mediums and all the messy stuff that we've layered all up here. Sorry. And then you can kind of see here, I'm just gonna set them here. I am thinking hard about letter placement because I want to do something extra special in the centers of these 3 flowers specifically. So I am intentionally putting my smile down here. Also, we're going to pull in some of the pattern paper and we're going to add some little butterflies over here. So I want to nestle my card sentiment in this lower left-hand corner. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Nikki. So this is going to give us, I find when I do these stacked dies like this, that 3 layers of cardstock is the perfect amount of lift, perfect amount of dimension. It becomes thick enough that it stands up and kind of pops your sentiment up, but it is also thin enough that you don't have to pay extra postage. I think it would depend on how thick your cardstock is, but if you're using just a regular, the Brutus Monroe regular weight cardstock, not your mama's, but the color cardstocks, 3 is perfect. So we're just going to layer these up, glue them together. How are we doing on time? There we go. We're great. We're great on time. Yay. I think I'm getting good. I'm getting pretty good about timing these out and knowing what things I have to do early before I actually go live and what things I can do live. So we don't finish up too early because I did too much, and we don't finish up too late because I didn't prep enough. Okay. Ellen says she goes back and forth on stacking your sentiments. I can see why, but I think sometimes, so I think that my opinion is that if you're doing foam tape and foam tape, so if I was going to put foam tape on the back of this, and then I decided I was going to put foam tape on the back of this, and then I would do the stacking of the die cuts for 2, that would be a really thick card, and that would be really hard to mail. But because This is just one layer, one layer. Now we can have just a little bit of a sentiment. And I think the dimension and stacking your sentiment when you're doing a card really helps in that it makes that sentiment stand out a little bit. It gives it a little bit of pride of place, so to speak. You can really kind of appreciate, you when you're making a card, that's sort of your what you want people to see and read first. So by giving it a little bit of separation from the rest of the elements on your card, I do think it is helpful. And this is a really easy way to do it. The other nice thing is that when you mail it, sometimes the foam tape can make things like collapse because it kind of like smooshes it, but it's not gonna, when you do the stacks, it's not gonna smush it. I hope that makes sense. Ooh. We're just gonna go ahead and doing this nice and straight right across the bottom. We are gonna do some quick fussy cutting tonight. I know, but we have to. We still have all that gorgeous butterfly pattern paper. And we need just a little more pop of color. Sometimes it is. I think that has to do a lot with how, like, what the font is. Sometimes you get fonts that have all those little curly cues and stuff, and they don't want to line up. This one's super easy to line up. It goes through really nice and easily. Oh no, Penny's speechless. I don't know if that's good or bad. Oh no, she laughed. Okay. All right. So now let's pick out some butterflies from our pattern papers. So basically, we can grab any butterfly we want. I think I want to try to get one that's either purple or pink that kind of goes with it. In the little mock-up one, I used these two, and I think those are the two I'm going to use today. I thought maybe I'd pick a different one, but I just really like how these two look. And the nice thing is that Real Spin Paper Pad has like 3 or no, it's not. I think it's 4 of each of the designs, or is it 3? It's a lot. It's more than just 1 or 2. And these are the best butterflies. The number escapes me now. Hi, Heather. I'm so glad you made it. 4 each. Thank you, Nikki. Heather answered me too. It is 4. I thought my brain was saying 4, but then you know how sometimes you're live and you answer questions and you second guess yourself completely. And you're like, wait, is that right? Is that wrong? Okay. So fussy cutting, we're going to fussy cut these 2 butterflies. I'm going to do it super fast. And the trick to fussy cutting is you move your paper, not your scissors. That's the first trick. The second fussy cutting hack I have for you is like your scissors. Love your scissors. Find the scissors that fits your hand and makes you super happy. And use the same scissors all the time so that you know where that blade hits on your scissors. And this isn't the time to use the new scissors you haven't learned how to use yet. Also, someone's going to comment on this. Yes, I am ambidextrous because I write and do most things left-handed. But there are a couple things that I do right-handed. One of the things that I do right-handed is use a pair of scissors. So there's our first little butterfly. And we'll go to our second little butterfly. And then I'll check the comments. Because fussy cutting butterflies are not, this is not something that you can do while watching comments. I'm sorry. This requires all of your focus. So I'm just moving the paper with my left hand and then cutting my right hand, just guiding the blade. Nice and easy. Penny said I'm making Thistle's Night fussy cutting, not for the paint of art. Well, I don't know. I like fussy cutting. So we're going to put our two butterflies right here. And then we're going to add our sparkle. And then we are done. We're going to let both of these butterflies kind of be flying right off the edge of the page. Yep, we let the butterfly free. Free of its paper prison. Never thought of it that way before. I'm gonna hold these down. You'll also notice that I'm adding the butterflies so that they're kind of going off in different directions. That's just a little bit of good butterfly placement. I don't like it when they're both all heading off in the same direction. So trim off their little wings. They don't mind. I promise. Okay. And now we are going to add little violet shift gems to the centers of the flowers. Because this card needs more sparkle, more glitter. There's, right? Always more. There's this twins. Wait, after this video is done, I'm going to go relax with an audiobook. Oh, what book are you reading, Nikki? What kind of books do you like to read? I am a reader. Not so much audiobooks. I do occasionally, if I have to go on a trip or something, read an audiobook. But I like ebooks, and I also like real books. I love bookstores. They're my favorite. I still read paper books too. Oh. So we're going to add all of these little gems. So what's nice about this amazing flower stamp is that the little dots where you put the gems, it's like all ready for you. You just have to go in and put little drops of glue. There's little polka dots in the centers of all the flowers. You can just add a little drop of glue to each of those polka dots, and it will tell, and then you can add a gem right on top. No decision making needed. There we go. Ouch. I missed the part about why Heather's saying ouch. Oh, because I clipped the butterfly's wings. Oh, you're funny. They didn't feel it. They're just paper. Ellen says she's listening to lessons in chemistry. And Nikki says, first kiss. I do not have a specific type of book that I like to read. I like to read all kinds of books. I like to read nonfiction books. I like to read fiction books. I like to read pretty much anything. I do enjoy history very much. Even in school, I was a very good history student. But I like all kinds of history. I like documentaries, and I find old cold cases to be extremely fascinating. Okay. In a second. There we go. So I'm going to put these away, and I should have put them into one of the 100 little triangle trays that I have sitting on my desk, because that would have made it incredibly easier to put it back into the container. I recognize this fault, but it's too late now. But just to be clear, I do have them. I mean, they're right there, and they're completely empty. See, like, I don't know. All right, we're done, guys. We just got to put it on a card base, which I'm going to do tomorrow after all the glue dries. So there is our card all done. I hope it will clear up. But I will take lots of pictures tomorrow and put them into the Bruce Monroe Facebook group too. And what I really like is if you look here, you can see, I hope you can see. You can see the dimension on the sentiment, and the dimension on the sentiment matches the dimension of the little gems. So this should be able to go through the mail without any damage to it. So there we are. There's our card project for tonight, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed this fun little project. And I'll see you again next Monday. And next Monday, if it works out the way I have planned, we're not going to do a card. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Ellen. You guys have a wonderful evening, everyone, okay? Bye. See you later.